This is the morning news on GSN, also known as Grace Sam News. Hot news of the day is the American family. Researchers have found out that to the 1960s, a traditional marriage meant a man and a woman of the same race. While rights of women minorities expanded up to the 90s, there was an increase in divorce rates and a start of interracial marriages. As social standards continue to change, state laws are accommodating and allowing gay marriage. In the future, the U.S. expects to see more non-traditional marriages as these non-traditional marriages become even more socially accepted.
Looking more into the past, it was rare and unaccepted by the society to have a non-traditional marriage, as evidenced by a local during this era. Hello, we are here with Trudy Ramsbottom from Onalaska, Wisconsin, interviewing her on the American family and the institution of marriage.
When you were little, did you see any marriages for two people of different races to get married?
No,
When you were little, did you see any same-sex marriages?
never.
Do you think women's rights movements and movements of minorities caused divorce rates to increase? Do you see more interracial marriages after minorities movements were passed?
Yeah, I think so. More marriages between races.
Do you support gay marriage?
No, I don't.
What about interracial marriage?
No,
Do you believe in a man and woman together forever?
I do.
Do you think that the so-called traditional marriage is changing?
Yes.
How do you think it's changing?
Well, we're seeing the gay marriage, and more people are just living together, and there's more mixed religious marriages. So I think it's changing. Yes.
And is that what do you think the term like traditional marriage means now?
To a lot of people, it still means the same thing, but people get married with the idea they're going to stay together forever, but it just doesn't always work out that way, and that's just the way it is.
Do you see more non-traditional marriages nowadays?
Yes.
In your life, have you seen more of an increase or decrease in divorce rates?
Increase in divorce.
What do you think is causing this?
I think the woman going into the workforce is one thing. She has her own income, and it makes divorce much easier. And you always have the differences in religion and interracial marriages. There's a big difference there in the children being raised, in that type of marriage makes it a higher divorce rate, I think.
What were your parents' thoughts on dating a person of a different race?
I never could do it.
Never.
My mother would never allow it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you can see in this video, it was very unacceptable to have anything but a traditional marriage in the past. Another example is the show I Love Lucy, which came out in 1951 and ran until 1957. Even when married, this interracial couple, with Lucy being Caucasian and Ricky being Cuban, had to sleep in separate beds on opposite sides of the room. This shows how interracial marriage was totally unaccepted by society prior to the 1960s.
We took this clip straight from the series called The Jeffersons about an interracial couple. Warning, this clip has cruel language in it.
George, why do we have to fight so much? If we have a problem, why can't we just talk it through like Tom and Helen? They don't fight.
They don't fight because they're scared to fight.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know damn well what it means. If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigga.
He said
Now, you listen to me. We have had lots of fights, and it's never happened.
Oh, and don't tell me it never crossed your mind.
No more than it ever crossed my mind to say the word honky to Tom.
Ah, well, how come you said it just then?
Come on, Nick, let's go.
That's the best idea you've had all day.
As you can see, this interracial couple is being discriminated against by a traditional couple, again showing that it was unaccepted to have anything but a traditional marriage. In the state, the traditional man and woman marriage was very common, and it was socially unaccepted to have any marriage but that. In almost all movies and shows prior to the 1960s, all marriages were a man and a woman of the same race who stayed married forever. From 1867 to 1950, the divorce rate never rose above 10%. On average, the divorce rates between the year 1960 to 1963 was 23%. These rates are very low compared to the couple years that followed it. From 1964 to 1985, the average divorce rate rose from 37%. As time goes on, the divorce rates keep increasing.
As time has gone on, there have been more types of non-traditional marriages that are being accepted by society. We interviewed Paul, a gay man in his 30s, about his opinion on the topic of the changing American family.
Oh, let's see. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Are you saying like actual, just in general in the public, or people I know specifically?
That, like, anyone that you saw that was interracial marriages. Like, anybody you can think of.
I can't think of any when I was young.
Okay.
Does that ruin the next question?
Oh, no. We're just...
Oh.
When you were little, did you see any same-sex marriages?
No. Well, there weren't, and if I did, it wouldn't have been a marriage, but it would have, it would have been close, or a partnership. But I don't think so. I can't think of really any that I saw in Rochester, Minnesota, where I grew up.
Okay, and do you ever feel outcasted, or do you feel accepted by most?
I feel accepted by most.
As you heard, he didn't see any non-traditional marriages when he was young, but as he got older, he saw more and believed they were becoming more accepted. Not only is the public becoming more accepting nowadays, but the government also. Massachusetts was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage in 2004, and since then in the U.S. it has been legal in all states to have a same-sex marriage since June 26, 2015. This is an enormous change of it not being legal at all prior to 2004 to just 11 years later where it is now legal in all states. Also, interracial marriages became legal in 1967. These changes were due to the dramatic public shift of the people becoming more accepting.
What was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage? A. Washington, B. Massachusetts, or C. Oregon?
Television was also keeping up with the changing society. They too were having more characters in shows and movies to have non-traditional marriages. These television shows persuaded the minority that still didn't accept non-traditional marriages to become more comfortable with the idea, so they would soon accept it also.
To get some perspective, some shows that we see nowadays that resemble this idea are The Ellen Show, Andy Mack, Modern Family, Glee, The Fosters, Riverdale, 13 Reasons Why, and Grey's Anatomy. All these shows either contain gay marriages or characters or interracial marriages. To elaborate more, in the show Modern Family, the gay couple explains in detail the way they believe lesbian and gay community work.
All right, whoever made our son cry has messed with the wrong moms.
Lesbians. While often lumped together, gay men and lesbians have less in common than one might think.
Like in the Venn diagram of sexual identity. You have gay men
and straight men, both the same gender.
Then you have gay men
and straight women, both attracted to the same gender. But gay men and lesbians?
Nothing.
I am so sorry.
As you can see, these TV shows were talking about these topics without filter, therefore the society is becoming more comfortable with the idea of these topics.
To add up,
don't be scared.
We're all guys here. Let's get out of here.
We need some names.
Yeah, you know, some people at the school need to get their ass kicked to learn not to mess with you anymore.
Come on, guys. You know that's not a solution.
No, enough is enough.
Mr. Shu's right. I love you guys, and your support means everything. But it won't fix anything. In fact, it'll probably make everything worse.
In this clip, it shows a transgender getting bullied and Unique, the transgender friend, supporting her. This is teaching people, especially teenagers, that it's acceptable to be who you are, even if it's a non-traditional marriage. Even Disney Channel, who is targeted towards younger viewers, has now just released a show called Andy Mack that features a gay character to expose it more to younger generations. These generations will grow up and not see anything unusual about non-traditional marriages, since their people won't be judged in having non-traditional marriages. More of them will occur. This will then change the idea of the typical American family.
We interviewed Deborah Melo, a researcher on the patterns of social changes. Researchers have found that the consistent pattern as time goes on is more people are accepting and having non-traditional marriages. Therefore, the traditional American family of the past is changing. Some people would argue that it is not becoming more acceptable because it is going against many people's religions. But they also have their own opinions on the topic of non-traditional marriages, and they are becoming more flexible with this part of their religion. We interviewed Diana Rademacher, the mother of Paul, about her opinions on the change in the American family, especially about the challenges she faced with her son's choice and her religion. When you were little, did you see any marriages for two people of different races to get married?
No, not really.
When you were little, did you see any same-sex marriages?
Nope.
Yeah. Do you think women's rights movements and movements of the minorities caused divorce rates to increase?
No.
Did you see more interracial marriages after minorities movements were passed?
Yes.
Do you believe in a man and woman together forever?
I do. But I'm gonna qualify that. That's not a yes or no statement.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, it's okay to get out of it.
Yeah.
So I guess then maybe my answer is no.
Okay, yeah. Do you support interracial marriage?
Yes.
Divorces?
Yes.
Do you think that the so-called traditional marriage is changing?
Yes.
Was it hard for you to accept Paul's decision at first?
No.
Why so?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It wasn't. I think the hard part for me was knowing it would be harder for him.
Yeah.
I didn't personally have issues with it.
Did it interfere with your religion at all?
It did.
How did you, go about that?
We have left the Catholic faith, and we've actually just joined another church. Doesn't mean we don't have faith. It just shifted maybe some of how we aligned with some of the teachings of that faith.
Yeah. This exemplifies how people are adapting to the changing social standards, and many people will continue to accept and adapt these social standards.
According to Marshall Status of LGBT Americans, there's been an increase in gay marriages, and they expect it to grow and be more accepted. As we see more non-traditional marriage, more people are becoming more acceptable of it because of the influence from the TV shows, protests, and their surrounding peers, and we expect this pattern to continue. As time goes on, the social standards are adapting to the changing American family because society is seeing it more frequently. In the future, how do you predict that social standards will continue to change? Now for the gorilla eating a banana clip.